Have you ever looked at your partner and thought to yourself, what happened to us? At the beginning, everything was exciting. Every touch felt electric, every word was filled with passion, every moment together felt like it could last forever. But now, the conversations feel routine, the spark has dimmed, and the relationship that once made your heart race feels more like a daily checklist. If you've ever felt this, you're not alone. Most relationships, no matter how strong, eventually face this quiet enemy, boredom. And if you don't know how to fight it, that boredom will quietly eat away at the love you've built until nothing remains but two people sharing the same space without sharing the same soul. But here's the truth. Boredom isn't the end. It's a signal. A signal that something needs to change, that new energy must be injected, that love needs to be fed with more than just routine. And if you're willing to step up, to lead, and to take action, you can reignite the fire and make your relationship more exciting, more passionate, and more alive than it ever was in the beginning. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 powerful things you can do when your relationship feels boring. These aren't surface-level tricks. These are deep, proven shifts that will not only bring the excitement back, but also create the kind of connection most people only dream of. If you're ready to stop settling for mediocrity and start building a relationship that feels alive again, then stay with me, because this is about to change the way you see love forever. The first thing you need to understand is this: boredom creeps in not because love dies, but because we stop doing the things that created love in the first place. We get comfortable, we assume the other person will always be there, and we trade passion for routine. But passion isn't lost, it's neglected. And the moment you start feeding it again, it grows. Think back to when you first met your partner. What did you do? You pursued them. You made an effort to impress them. You gave your best energy. You brought curiosity, adventure, and excitement into every interaction. But over time, we stopped doing those things. We let routine replace creativity. We let comfort replace effort. And that's why it starts to feel boring. So the first thing you must do is this: bring back the element of surprise. When your partner no longer knows what to expect from you, the relationship comes alive again. Imagine this. Instead of the same dinner at the same place every Friday night, you tell her to be ready at 7, without telling her where you're going. Instead of another evening spent scrolling on your phones, you turn off the lights, put on some music, and pull her into a slow dance in the living room. Instead of waiting for a special occasion, you leave her a handwritten note under her pillow, something that reminds her of the man she fell in love with. Small things? Yes. But small things create massive impact because they break the routine and remind your partner that you are not just predictable, you're exciting. Every time you introduce surprise, you send a message: this relationship is alive. This love is worth paying attention to. This isn't just routine. It's passion. And passion, once reignited, spreads like wildfire. Now let's talk about the second thing you need to do if you want to destroy boredom in your relationship. You must bring back the energy of pursuit. Most men make a tragic mistake. They believe that once they have a woman, the work is done. But the truth is, attraction is not something you win once and then forget about. Attraction is something you must constantly feed, and when you stop pursuing her the way you once did, she begins to feel unnoticed, unappreciated, and taken for granted. That's when distance grows, that's when the spark dies, that's when she begins to wonder if you still see her the way you once did. Think about this carefully. When you first wanted her, you didn't just sit back and wait. You made the effort to call, to plan, to chase, to impress. You gave her your best self. That energy told her, you are worth my time, my focus, my effort. And that energy made her feel special. But now, too many men stop giving that same pursuit once they're in a relationship. They become lazy, distracted, or too comfortable. They no longer plan dates with intention. They no longer flirt with her like they did at the beginning. They no longer try to win her over every day. And when that happens, she begins to lose the very feelings that brought her close in the first place. The secret to long-lasting attraction is to never stop chasing her. Not in a needy or desperate way, but in a powerful and playful way. When she feels that you still see her as desirable, she will start to see you as desirable too. When you tease her, when you flirt with her, when you look at her with that same hunger you had at the start, she feels alive again. She remembers why she fell in love with you. And in return, she gives you her softness, her affection, her full feminine energy. So don't let yourself become passive. Don't let routine kill your pursuit. Every week, find ways to make her feel chosen all over again. Send her a message in the middle of the day that isn't just about groceries or bills, but something that reminds her you're thinking about her. Grab her hand when you're walking, not because you have to, but because you want to. Look into her eyes when you talk to her, not with blank routine, but with real presence. The more you pursue her, the more she'll pursue you in return. And when two people are chasing each other, boredom doesn't stand a chance. Now, the third thing you need to do to erase boredom is this: create shared challenges. Most couples fall into boredom because their entire relationship becomes about comfort. Comfort is good, but too much of it kills excitement. You need growth, you need challenges, you need experiences that push both of you out of your comfort zones. When you go through challenges together, you bond in a way that nothing else can replace. Think about it. The strongest memories you have in life usually come from challenges, not comfort. The trip that went wrong but turned into a funny story. The time you both worked hard for something and finally achieved it. The night you got lost in a new city and had to figure it out together. These are the moments that stick. These are the moments that make you look at each other with pride and say, "We did this." So if your relationship feels boring, it may be because you're too comfortable. Shake things up. Take on a new adventure together. It could be physical, like training for a race, hiking a mountain, or learning a new sport together. It could be intellectual, like taking a class together, reading the same book and discussing it, or even starting a small side project. It could be emotional, like opening up about something you've never shared before and letting her do the same. When you create shared challenges, you're not just passing time, you're building bonds. You're writing stories. You're creating memories that boredom can never erase. And here's the most powerful part. When you and your partner face challenges together, your roles as masculine and feminine become stronger. She gets to lean into your strength, your leadership, your calm presence. You get to lean into her softness, her support, her emotional energy. That polarity, the balance of masculine and feminine, is what creates sparks. It's what creates sexual attraction. And the moment that energy is alive again, boredom disappears. The fourth thing you must do if your relationship feels boring is to bring back the element of surprise. Think about it. Why was the beginning of your relationship so intoxicating? Because everything felt fresh, unexpected, and exciting. You didn't know what she was going to say, she didn't know what you were going to do, and every moment had the thrill of discovery. Over time, couples fall into predictable routines. You know what you'll eat for dinner, what you'll talk about, what you'll watch, even how intimacy will happen. Predictability might feel safe, but it kills excitement. Humans are wired to crave novelty, and if you don't bring it into the relationship, boredom will creep in like an invisible poison. So what does surprise look like in practice? It doesn't always mean buying expensive gifts or planning elaborate trips. Sometimes, the most powerful surprises are small but deeply thoughtful. For example, imagine she's had a long day, and instead of doing the usual routine, you light a few candles, put on her favorite song, and pull her into a slow dance in the kitchen. Or maybe you wake up one morning and instead of just talking about going somewhere, you grab her hand and say, "Get dressed, we're going on an adventure." It could be something as simple as driving to a new cafe, visiting a hidden spot in your city, or even cooking together in a way you've never done before. The beauty of surprise is that it tells her, "I'm still paying attention. I still want to impress you. I still want to make life with you exciting." And when a woman feels that, she feels desired. She feels alive. She feels like she's in a relationship that others envy because it doesn't grow stale. The truth is, You don't have to be rich or overly romantic to keep the fire alive. You just need to be intentional and creative. Never let her predict every move. Give her something unexpected, and you'll watch her eyes light up the same way they did when she first fell for you. Now, the fifth and final thing that will absolutely destroy boredom in your relationship is this. You must never stop growing as a man. This is the most important one of all because your personal growth fuels the entire relationship. When a man stops growing, stops striving, stops chasing his purpose, everything else begins to collapse. Your woman feels it. She senses the stagnation. She notices when your conversations become repetitive, when your energy feels dull, when you're no longer hungry for life. And when that happens, she doesn't just get bored with the relationship, she gets bored with you. But when you are a man on a mission, when you are constantly improving yourself, building your body, sharpening your mind, chasing your vision, she cannot get bored of you. Why? Because growth is magnetic. When you grow, you bring new energy into the relationship. You bring new experiences, new perspectives, new strength. You become a source of inspiration rather than someone who drags her into routine. A woman will always respect and desire a man who refuses to remain the same. And here's the hidden truth. When you grow, you challenge her to grow too. Your energy lifts hers. Your vision pulls her forward. She sees you not as a stagnant partner, but as a man who is becoming more attractive with time. And that's when she invests more, she supports more, she gives more of her feminine energy to you. The relationship becomes a constant dance of growth, expansion, and deeper attraction. So ask yourself right now, are you growing or are you shrinking? Are you becoming more powerful, more confident, more masculine every year, or are you stuck in the same habits, the same mindset, the same dull routine? If your relationship feels boring, the answer might not just be in her, it might be in you. Become the man who inspires growth, and you will never deal with boredom again. Now let's put it all together. If your relationship feels boring, there are 5 powerful moves that will bring back the fire. First, bring back playfulness. Laughter and teasing are the oxygen of romance. Second, bring back the pursuit. Never stop chasing her the way you did at the beginning. Third, create shared challenges. Push each other out of comfort and grow together. Fourth, surprise her. Keep life fresh and unpredictable. And fifth, never stop growing as a man. Your growth is the engine of her desire. When you live by these 5 moves, your relationship doesn't just survive, it thrives. You'll notice her energy shift. You'll notice her looking at you differently. You'll notice that the intimacy returns naturally, the spark reignites, and she starts investing in you again with a level of passion that makes other men jealous. Boredom is not inevitable. It only comes when you allow yourself to settle. So refuse to settle. Refuse to be ordinary. Refuse to let your relationship drift into routine. Instead, lead with strength. Lead with creativity. Lead with playfulness. Lead with purpose. And when you do, she will follow with devotion, passion, and energy. Together, you'll build a relationship that doesn't just last but becomes more exciting, more powerful, and more passionate with time. This is how you make sure your relationship never gets boring again. But here's the thing most men overlook. A boring relationship isn't just about the moments when you sit in silence on the couch, or when date night feels like a chore. It's about the energy you both bring into it every single day. Think back to the early days. You weren't just fun, you weren't just surprising, you weren't just chasing her, you were fully alive. You were present. You were intentional. And that's the piece that often fades over time. Presence. The art of being fully there with her. Not scrolling through your phone while she's talking. Not thinking about work when she's telling you about her day. Not nodding absent-mindedly while your attention is somewhere else. True presence. Looking into her eyes. Listening not just to her words, but to her emotions. Feeling her energy and responding with your masculine presence. Do you know what happens when you give a woman that kind of attention? She melts. She feels desired in the deepest way possible. She feels chosen, important, valued. And that alone can reignite attraction instantly. Because here's the truth. Women don't just get bored because of routine, they get bored because they feel invisible. They feel like you don't see them anymore. You see her body, you see her role in the relationship, but you stop seeing her as the woman who craves your masculine attention. When you give her presence, it tells her, I still see you. You're still my woman. And that changes everything. Now let's take it even deeper. Another hidden reason relationships become boring is because couples stop flirting with each other. Think about it. Flirting is what created the spark in the first place. The playful texts, the teasing, the little touches, the eye contact, the way you whispered something in her ear just to make her blush. That energy is the heartbeat of attraction. But over time, couples trade it for seriousness. Responsibilities, bills, schedules, chores. Suddenly, all the things that used to make the relationship fun are replaced with heavy conversations and routine. But here's what you must remember. Flirting is not just for the beginning. Flirting is the fuel that keeps passion alive. You should still make her blush. You should still whisper in her ear when you're out in public, saying something only she can hear. You should still send her a cheeky text in the middle of the day that makes her think about you and smile. That's not childish. That's powerful. Because when a woman feels desired in those subtle, playful ways, she never gets bored. She becomes addicted to your energy. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a couple who have been together for 5 years. Their nights look the same. Dinner, a little TV, bed. Their conversations revolve around work, errands, and what needs to be fixed around the house. The spark feels gone. Now imagine if one night, instead of the usual routine, he leaned close to her on the couch, brushed her hair back, and whispered, "You have no idea how badly I've been wanting you tonight." Or he sent her a text while she was at work that simply said, "Clear your evening. I have plans for you." Suddenly, her mind starts racing. She's excited. She's curious. She feels the energy again. That is the power of flirting, and that is how you kill boredom instantly. But let's go one step further. Relationships also get boring when intimacy becomes predictable. This is where so many couples fail. They assume that intimacy should be spontaneous, but in reality, it requires intentionality. If you always initiate the same way, if you always end up in the same routine, she will get bored. Not because she doesn't desire you, but because the energy feels stale. The truth is, variety isn't just exciting, it's necessary. You need to change the rhythm, change the mood, change the way you approach her. Sometimes be slow, sometimes be intense, sometimes surprise her in unexpected moments. Keep her guessing. And remember, intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's the way you touch her throughout the day without expecting anything. The way you put your hand on her lower back as you guide her through a crowd. The way you hold her chin and make her look into your eyes when you're speaking. The way you sit next to her and pull her into you as if the world doesn't exist. When a woman feels that kind of energy, she feels desired, safe, and alive. That's when boredom doesn't stand a chance. So here's the mini summary. If you want to eliminate boredom, you must bring back presence, bring back flirting, and bring back unpredictable intimacy. Presence makes her feel seen. Flirting makes her feel wanted. And unpredictable intimacy makes her feel alive. These 3 elements alone can take a relationship from dull to electric in a matter of days. But there's another layer. A relationship also becomes boring when you stop creating memories together. Think about the couples who feel lifeless. They live day by day, but they're not creating moments worth remembering. And without memories, the relationship becomes just a series of tasks. You must actively create memories, because memories are what bond you to each other in ways routine never can. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Maybe it's a late-night drive with the windows down and your favorite song blasting. Maybe it's cooking a ridiculous meal together and laughing when it turns out terrible. Maybe it's pulling her into the rain instead of running from it. These are the moments that stick. Years later, when you look back, you won't remember the TV shows you watched. You'll remember the adventures, the laughter, the spontaneous moments. And when you build those consistently, boredom can never settle in. The truth is, most men lose their women not because they're bad partners, but because they forget how to be unforgettable. They forget how to make her laugh, how to make her blush, how to keep her curious, how to give her presence, and how to create moments that feel like magic. That's your job. That's your role as a man in the relationship, to lead with strength, presence, and creativity so that boredom never has a place to grow. And the reward? A relationship where she looks at you with the same spark she had on the first date. Where she craves your touch, your words, your presence. Where the intimacy feels alive, and the passion grows instead of fading. That's what happens when you refuse to let boredom win. Here's something men rarely realize. Boredom in a relationship doesn't start with her. It starts with you. The way you show up, the energy you bring, the way you lead, sets the entire tone. If you come home drained, disengaged, and uninterested, don't be surprised if she mirrors that energy. Women are emotional amplifiers. They take the energy you give and reflect it back. So if you're dull, she becomes distant. If you're vibrant, playful, and present, she becomes magnetic. This is why your energy is the foundation. So ask yourself, what kind of man are you being around her? Do you make her feel like she's still the woman you chose, or do you treat her like background noise? If you want to break the cycle of boredom, start with your own energy. Start being intentional again. Wake up with the mindset of, how can I make her smile today? How can I surprise her? How can I remind her that she's mine? That mindset alone shifts everything. And here's the beautiful truth. Women are starving for this kind of leadership. They don't want you to be passive, waiting for her to create the fun. They don't want you to just go through the motions. They want a man who leads with confidence, who knows how to spark excitement, who isn't afraid to take risks and be bold. That's what keeps her chasing you, even years into the relationship. Think about it this way. In the beginning, you didn't wait for her to plan the dates. You didn't wait for her to bring the energy. You took charge. You initiated. You made her feel like she was part of an adventure. That's what won her heart in the first place. And that's exactly what will keep it. So here's a simple action step. Once a week, plan something unexpected. It doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. It could be as simple as driving her to a new coffee shop she's never been to, or picking her up after work and taking her on a spontaneous walk by the water, or setting up a candlelit dinner at home, not because it's a holiday, but because it's Tuesday and you decided she deserves it. That one small act of leadership every week keeps her guessing. And when a woman doesn't know what's coming next, she stays intrigued, curious, and deeply engaged. The truth is, boredom dies when mystery is reborn. And mystery doesn't mean hiding from her. It means keeping her surprised by your presence, your creativity, and your ability to lead her into new experiences. That's what makes her look at you with excitement instead of routine. Here's the reality most men miss. Relationships don't die from betrayal, from conflict, or even from arguments. Most of the time, they die from silence, from predictability, from two people living side by side without truly engaging with one another. That's what boredom really is. It's the slow fading of emotional intensity. And the sad part is, many men mistake this silence for comfort. They think, well, we're not fighting, so everything must be fine. But silence isn't peace. Silence is distance. And distance kills attraction. If you want to revive your relationship, you have to reignite the fire of connection. And connection isn't built from grand gestures, it's built from consistent presence. The way you look at her when she's talking. The way you touch her without needing it to turn into something more. The way you notice her new hairstyle, or the effort she put into her outfit. These are the little sparks that remind her, I'm still seen. I'm still desired. And when a woman feels desired, she stops being bored, because desire is the opposite of routine. But here's the problem. Many men stop showing desire once they secure the relationship. In the beginning, they chase, they flirt, they compliment, they touch. But once she's theirs, they get lazy. They assume she already knows how they feel, so why bother saying it? But here's the truth. She doesn't just want to know once, she wants to feel it every day. Not in words only, but in your energy, your actions, your attention. That's what makes her lean into you instead of drifting away. So here's another powerful move. Bring back playful tension. Flirt with her the way you did when you first met. Tease her gently. Whisper something unexpected in her ear when no one else is listening. Grab her hand in public like you're claiming her. That's what flips the switch in her brain from roommate to lover. And when she feels that playful tension again, her excitement for you skyrockets. Another key part of ending boredom is breaking your own routine. If every day looks the same, if every week feels predictable, the relationship naturally feels stale. But the moment you do something out of the ordinary, you both wake up again. Maybe you take a weekend road trip without telling her the destination. Maybe you sign up for a dance class together even though you've never danced in your life. Maybe you both try cooking a dish from a country neither of you has been to. These things may seem small, but they create new memories. And new memories are the oxygen of a lasting relationship. Here's a powerful truth. Women fall in love twice. First, they fall for the man who pursues them. Then, if he's smart, they fall again for the man who continues to surprise them. The first love gets her. The second love keeps her. If you're only relying on the first, you're already losing her interest. But if you master the second, she'll stay endlessly drawn to you. Because she'll never feel like she fully has you figured out. Now let's talk about intimacy. Not just physical intimacy, but emotional intimacy. Because here's what most men don't realize. Physical attraction without emotional intimacy fades fast. But emotional intimacy keeps the physical passion alive. When you create a safe space where she can open up, where she feels like she can tell you her deepest thoughts without judgment, she bonds to you in a way that no other man can replicate. And when she feels that bond, she doesn't crave excitement elsewhere. She craves it with you. So how do you create this emotional intimacy? You listen with presence. You don't just nod and wait for your turn to speak. You really tune in. You ask deeper questions instead of brushing past the surface. You validate her feelings, not by fixing everything, but by saying, I get why you feel that way. That kind of presence is rare in men. And when she feels it, she'll associate you with safety, connection, and excitement all at once. And here's something powerful. Your woman doesn't just want you as her partner, she wants you as her adventure guide. She wants to look at you and feel like life is bigger, richer, more exciting because she's with you. That's what kills boredom. Not gifts, not apologies, not routines, but the feeling that being with you means being alive. So never stop leading her into new experiences. Never stop bringing energy. Never stop reminding her that love with you is not just safe, it's thrilling. Mini summary. Boredom creeps in when silence replaces connection, when routine replaces adventure, and when passivity replaces leadership. The cure is presence, desire, playfulness, and constant evolution. She doesn't want the same man forever. She wants a man who grows, who challenges her, who excites her by becoming more. That's the man she'll never get tired of. So here's the challenge. Don't just think about these ideas. Pick one thing this week and actually do it. Maybe it's surprising her with a date. Maybe it's looking her in the eyes and telling her she's beautiful when she least expects it. Maybe it's taking her hand and pulling her close without saying a word. Small moves, but massive impact. Because in the end, keeping a relationship exciting isn't about what you say, it's about how you make her feel. And if you can make her feel like the only woman in the world, Boredom won't even exist in her vocabulary. When you really strip it all down, keeping your relationship exciting isn't about doing 100 complicated things. It's about mastering a few simple but powerful habits and repeating them with intention. Desire her the way you did in the beginning. Create moments of playful tension that make her feel like she's your lover, not your roommate. Break routines so you're always creating new memories together. Build emotional intimacy by actually listening and making her feel understood. And keep leading. Keep showing her that life with you is more alive, more adventurous, more fulfilling than it could ever be with anyone else. At the core, women don't get bored with relationships. They get bored with men who stop growing, stop leading, stop surprising. The spark doesn't die because she's changed. It dies because you've stopped showing her why she fell in love with you in the first place. But the moment you reintroduce presence, passion, and leadership, she'll light up again. Because deep down, she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to drift. She wants to feel alive in your presence. She wants you to be the man who reminds her that love can still feel exciting after years together. So the choice is simple. Either let your relationship fade into silence and routine, or take the lead and make it unforgettable again. If you do these 5 things with consistency, boredom will never be your enemy. Instead, you'll build something so magnetic, so alive, that she'll look at you years from now with the same excitement she had on the very first day.